A Christmas Carol, by Charles Dickens. Chapter 1, Scrooge. Scrooge's business partner, Marley, had passed away, leaving Scrooge alone and indifferent to the world's opinion. Scrooge was a notorious miser, never spending or giving money. He even berated his nephew for celebrating Christmas. Despite his wealth, Scrooge refused to donate to the poor. He even suggested sending them to prisons or workhouses. The festive season couldn't extinguish the Christmas spirit. As a boy's caroling drew Scrooge's ire. Scrooge's clerk, Bob Cratchit, toiled in the cold, unable to afford more light. But Scrooge remained alone, unyielding in his disdain for the holiday. Chapter 2, Marley's Ghost.
Scrooge returns to his dark, silent rooms, where he is greeted by the ghostly image of Marley.
Marley's appearance is a warning of things to come. Marley's ghostly image is framed by his familiar glasses and a heavy chain laden with cash boxes, keys, and account books. He explains that he is condemned to wander the earth due to his lifelong indifference to the suffering of others. Marley warns Scrooge of the impending visitation by three spirits and urges him to change his ways. These spirits will guide Scrooge on a journey of redemption. With this message delivered, Marley vanished into the night, and Scrooge retreated to bed, where he soon fell asleep, pondering the otherworldly visitation. Chapter 3, The First Spirit. The spirit of Christmas past transports Scrooge to his childhood. We see his kind-hearted sister, Fanny, who was also the mother of Scrooge's nephew. Next, we see Scrooge's former employer, Mr. Fezziwig. Scrooge realizes that the joy of Christmas and generosity bring true happiness. The spirit then shows Scrooge his courtship of Belle. We see how Scrooge's love of money led to the tragic end of their relationship. Finally, we see Belle as a contented wife and mother. Scrooge is left with a deep sense of longing and regret. Scrooge is frustrated by the memories and begs the spirit to return him to his room. He reflects on the scenes from the past, his lost love, and the role of money in his life. Chapter 4, The Second Spirit. Scrooge meets the spirit of Christmas present. The spirit takes Scrooge to a room filled with holiday splendor. Scrooge is struck by the joyful atmosphere and warmth of the holiday season. They then visit the humble Cratchit family. Despite their modest circumstances, they share a heartwarming Christmas celebration. Scrooge observes the family's deep love and Tiny Tim's precarious health. It's a touching scene that highlights the importance of family and love. The spirit then takes Scrooge to his nephew Fred's Christmas party. They laugh heartily, including at Scrooge's expense. Even though Fred knew his uncle was miserable, he still wished him a Merry Christmas each year. Chapter 5, The Last of the Spirits. The spirit of Christmas yet to come takes Scrooge to various scenes in the future. He sees businessmen discussing the death of an unknown man with callousness. Scrooge witnesses people living in squalor and criminal activity. In a dingy shop, people were selling stolen goods that they'd taken from a deceased person. The spirit shows Scrooge a somber room containing an unadorned bed with a lifeless body beneath a thin sheet. This poignant scene brings home the tragedy of the man's lonely death. Scrooge is taken to Bob Cratchit's house. The Cratchits mourn the loss of their beloved Tiny Tim, their grief tangible. Lastly, the spirit directs Scrooge to his own grave. He's horrified to read his own name on the tombstone. Chapter 6, A Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge. Filled with newfound hope and the spirit of Christmas, Scrooge eagerly embraced the Christmas spirit and made amends for his previous grumpiness. He donated generously to the charity and invited them to visit him the following day. Scrooge joined his nephew's Christmas celebration, where he was welcomed with open arms and enjoyed a delightful dinner and played games together. He became a much more cheerful man who laughed often. The next day, in his office, Scrooge announced a raise in Bob Cratchit's salary and offered help to his family. He did even more, saving Tiny Tim's life and providing for the Cratchits. Scrooge's transformation is a reminder that it's never too late to be a better person.